Hey, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very warm welcome to you to the Nishkarsh Sharma show. This is episode number 42, and I'm really, really excited for this one because today we have with us Alex Fedotoff. And Alex, he's been a mentor of mine. I've known Alex for a long time now. I've been following him on social media, and then now I'm getting, we're getting mentored by his team and Alex himself. And Alex and his team have been able to gross more than $100 million in e-commerce sales. $100 million in e-commerce sales, ladies and gentlemen. You heard that right. So, Alex, first of all, before we talk about anything else, a very, very warm welcome to you to the Nishkarsh Sharma show. It's such a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing, brother?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nishkarsh. Yeah, thank you so much, my man. Yeah, I'm very glad to be here with you and share some insights that could help some people.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've been in touch. I've been following Alex on his YouTube channel and on Instagram. I'm also a part of his mentorship program, and I'm also, my team also keeps in touch with his team. And there is so much that we've seen, and we've just seen Alex and his team growing so well in the last couple of years. So, Alex, of course, I know your story, but I'm sure, everyone listening to this right now would really want to know that where do you come from, like what's your story. I know I'm a big fan of where you come from and the journey that you've had in the last couple of years. So please, brother, shed some light on what's your story, like how has all of this been, like what has brought you from there till here. Really excited to know that.
Yeah, sure, man. Thank you. So I'm from like originally from Ukraine, and like I mean, you're from India. Like I resonate a lot with people from India, from these other countries because like some in some cases like we have to fight like for some things that are that are in some countries, more developed countries, that people kind of like get by default. Like even the when you do like e-commerce business, you want the payment processors. Now you have to like set up all of these complex kind of like setups and infrastructure just to have the payment processors. So I'm from Ukraine, and so my family was poor. I grown up pretty much without my mom, and then it's like I mean, graduated like everyone else, didn't know what to do, like it lost, like lost kid, like many people, and then it's like I mean, I was working like different jobs. Could find myself like sales cookies, cookie salesman. I was trying to sell cookies. I was not very good at it. Then I tried to be like I worked in the factory. I worked different jobs, trying to like find like something that I could grow myself in. And eventually, like some of my friends and friends of friends, they've been doing like some freelancing. It was like elance at that point of time. I spoke like maybe like 5-10 words in English, but I started kind of like started like googling, started like investigating, and so uh, it's kind of like if I shorten, because it was like a long process, like readjusting
Hmm.
your thing. Oh, you can work like remote. Oh, you
Hmm.
can make this money. It's like initially the goal for me was to make like $1,000 per month. That would be like wow, that would be like kind of I'll be so like happy. Then like it was $2,000, and then it's kind of like evolved from there. But I started on elance, didn't know like English, so I had to learn English. I had to learn like some skills. So I was pretty much searching like what people are searching for, what kind of like skills are required. So that was search engine optimization, Google AdWords, and then I would apply and I would say yes, I can help you, and then obviously didn't know a lot about that, so had to compensate with that lack of like knowledge with a fast learning. So I would be like 18, 20 hours a day, like working, trying to learn as much as possible, applying for these jobs initially, and over time it's kind of like I started to get some clients, some good clients, some bad clients. But then over time, it's better, as if you do something for extensive period of time, like if you stick to it, like it's just getting better. You start working with better clients. And so for me, it was like I started working with a lot of like e-commerce businesses specifically. And then one of those businesses asked me, "Can you do Facebook ads?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, for sure, I can do Facebook ads." And then I googling like, what is Facebook ads actually? And so started like to figure it out. It was easy. It was like what, like 2015 maybe, like. And so I started to Google, what Facebook ads was, and it was easy because like there was not a lot of competition as it is right now. I would do some like random stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. I was getting like 3-4x return on ad spend. I mean, clients like wanted more. They wanted like, oh, I want like 10x return on ad spend. So even that was not enough. But over time, it's kind of like I just stick to that like Facebook, and then okay, so this is the only thing I do. And then one of the clients was, so he reaches out and he says, I have this like a drop shipping store, and I need to run my ads. And very simple model, free plus shipping model, directly from China, and uh, like watches, it costs like $10-12, like shipping only, right? Because it's kind of like the watch is like free,
Right.
but you pay for the shipping. So $10-12 for shipping, and then if you upsells, the average to the value would be like $20-25. But it's profitable because the cogs are so low. This watch is literally like $2-3. And so I started like, and we pretty much like, I was doing like all of that by myself, and I'm seeing, okay, so he's sourcing products from here, he's selling them here, I know how to sell them. Why would I do it for him? And I've made him like in a few months, like for like 6 months I worked with him, I made him like millions of dollars. He was doing like very good volume. And I'm thinking, gee, like, I should do it for myself. And I started to do it for myself, obviously overcoming all of these like initial, oh, how do I get PayPal account? How do you get Stripe account? How do I process payments? Like even those, like those things take like so much time to resolve, like if you're not in developed country. But initially, yeah, it started to get traction. I started to, produce my own like stores, hiring a team, and building the business from there.
Okay. I can totally relate to that. When I got introduced to dropshipping, it was the year
Mm-hmm.
2017. So in
Uh-huh.
2017, the month was April, and we got to know. And PayPal was available, and PayPal is one payment gateway that everyone uses here in India. But then the problem is, if you want to be doing international dropshipping from China or wherever within US or whatever, one, PayPal fees is super high. We pay 4.4% plus 30 cents per transaction. That's one.
Wow.
Two, the PayPal, when we pay for Facebook ads, so the conversion rates are usually higher. So if a $1 is, let's say, 70 rupees, it like in the Indian rupee currency, but
Uh-huh.
we actually pay 75 instead of 70. So we're paying more, for the conversions. And then when
Wow.
we receive the money from PayPal, if the currency conversion is $1 $70, PayPal sends us 67 or 66. So we lose money there. So like this is how it all started. So that's when I think by in a couple of months after we got started, we partnered with someone in US. So he set up a company there. We had a friend in
Yeah.
US, and our margins like almost doubled. They almost doubled from when we were doing from here in India, because we were saving on
Wow.
credit card processing fee, currency conversion, PayPal fees. We got Shopify payments, so the fees also almost became half. So I can totally relate to that. And I have seen your I think Upwork profile. You give access to that
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
mentorship.
I
Yeah,
still
I've
have it.
seen
Yeah.
that.
I still have it. Still
Yes,
have it.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Right. So now, so your e-com journey, it began with drop shipping. You mentioned the free plus shipping thing, which was like trending back then. Everyone was pretty much doing it. And in the last
Mhm.
6 years, so what is your like currently, like how is the upgradation ladder been for you? Like you started with drop shipping. I know you've built brands after that as well,
Mhm.
but how has your journey been in the last
Yeah.
6 years since you started drop shipping? Because the market has absolutely changed. So how do you see that things were back
100%.
then versus how things are right now?
Yeah, man. I mean, so it changed so much. So initially, yeah, it was like free plus shipping, like random stuff. We were doing some also like low ticket products, like $20, like just whatever sells, we would sell it, because like it wasn't that competitive. But then like so 2017, so we've done that. We've done pretty well. 2018, we have. I mean, gotten more competitive. I think 2018, this is where we first got like introduced to more like higher ticket drop shipping. So and this is like pretty much what we do like till today. So what we do is we sell products that are like, I mean, at least like $100, 150, 200. Some of the products that we sell like 400, $500. So with those, I mean, we still, for the most part, we still ship from China. However, we have, the packaging, the kind of like the overall experience. We are responsive to customers. We're also giving them like free gifts. So the experience is very similar to what you would get for the brand, like except for the shipping time, right? So that's just a bit longer. Like I have, but I mean, it's also relative because I have bought, let's say, there's this company called Ridge Wallet. Um,
Yep. Yep.
I've interviewed their like chief operating officer like last week, a very good guy. And I mean, I bought their wallet, and it takes like 2 weeks to get delivered, like maybe like 10 days. So pretty much like it's US company, it's brand, right? But the shipping times are still long. So they might be shipping from China, I'm not sure, but I received the notification that expected delivery is like 10 days. So what I think is this, obviously market is changing, right? And it's getting like tougher, like getting more competitive now. iOS like updates all of these things on top of each other. But at the end of the day, it's about the customer experience, right? Like if customer experience is good, then you will be able to survive. You said like you launching your brand, good product, good quality. Okay, shipping times might be a bit longer, but people will wait. But if they wait and they receive a good quality product, I ordered like an iMac, which is like the one I'm using right now. Like it's like for like $3,000 or $4,000. It's not cheap product, but it's like I was waiting for it like for like 3 weeks because I think because it's like modified version, they also shipped it from China. As long as I'm happy with it. Okay, I'm waiting like a bit more. So I think where people kind of like that drop shipping versus like where they can grow on, and this is like one of the mistakes that we've made, and we paid for it. We lost, Stripe accounts. We had issues like with other merchant accounts because you would not kind of like you would think like kind of like the person that might be like very frustrated with the product, and you wouldn't kind of like communicate with that person, or you would ignore them. Then the person would file a chargeback, then your chargeback ratio is high, and then Stripe just kicks you out. Or other things that are kind of like directly common sense. It's like people paid you, right? Try to serve them, like try to give them like what was promised.
Correct.
Try to
Yeah.
deliver. It's simple. It's not, it's not rocket science, but this is exactly why like I think drop shipping kind of like as a whole is getting punished by Facebook because of people that like you order something and it's like 2 months shipping time, and on top of that like you like people wouldn't say like, hey, it actually takes like 2 months. They would say, yeah, it's like takes like or they wouldn't say at all, or it's maybe hidden in some shipping policy page, right? So I think as long as you are like transparent, you can still do very well. I mean, the guys in our program, I mean, some of the guys are killing it. One of the guys, I can tell you, like one of the guys in ESS in our program, like he started his drop shipping store in 2019. He still ships from China. So he done like 2.5 million in 2019. Last year, 2020, he's done $4 million in sales. And this year, he's also like, he's probably will hit like $6-7 million. But I connected him with my broker, and he has put his business for sale. And they made some adjustments. So, for example, if you want to sell dropshipping business, one of the things you need to have is a licensing agreement. Let's say you're you're selling from your suppliers. So you need to have the agreement with those people that they allow you to share under maybe their brand name or something like that. So some adjustments, and he put his business for sale for $4 million. So if someone buys, it's a $4 million acquisition. He's 21 years old. He's a kid.
That's
So
crazy. That's crazy. You talking
yeah.
about Bilal? Is that him?
Oh no, that's another
Okay.
guy. His name
Okay.
is Villain or Violin. I don't know.
Wow.
He's very low profile. He doesn't like. He's not very active in. He's very like. He's a guy who's like would close his door. He would work hard like by himself. You know, like very like self. Like he can motivate himself. He can work by himself. You know, kind of like very. Alone, you know, kind of like he can work alone and kind of like work effectively alone, which is very like rare. Typically people get distracted. I get distracted when I'm alone, like, you know, so many different things. But he's that type of person, introvert. Yeah. So that's drop shipping, you know, just kind of like to illustrate that it's like still could be done right. It's changing and it's getting more competitive, 100%. But like, for example, with his business, right? Like he would get like drop shipping business, like 20-30% repeat purchase ratio. His email revenue would be like 20%, you know, like 20-30% as well. Like, so people would buy, like if you sell people something bad, and you know what I mean? And like, then like you didn't have any repeat customers, like now you want to acquire a customer, you pay the full price. So this is where the value is built on the dropshipping side. And on our side, we also made like last year, we've made like very large adjustments in terms of like how we sell, how we, you know, in terms of like branding, giving people more than they expected, you know, over delivering those like expectations, being transparent with shipping times. Like we have on the product page, we have the shipping times. On the order form, we have the shipping times. On the email notifications, we have the shipping times. On the email sequence after that, we have shipping times, right? So your product's shipped, it will take approximately this much time. So we don't overpromise. I think when people overpromise, this is where the problems, you know, start.
That's interesting. And I totally agree with you. You know, in the end, the biggest mistake that I feel people make when they start with e-com is that they want to get rich quick. And all they care about is filling their bank accounts, making profits, and then, you know, PayPal and Facebook just screws them up really bad. But if you really want to go long term, you know, people should approach that as a proper long term stuff, wherein a long term business where they're actually serving people. You know, you get paid to serve people, you know. So that's pretty much it. Now, I was taking notes while you were talking. You mentioned high ticket products, you know. So, like, could you give us any one example of any high ticket product, and how would you approach researching these kind of products?
Yeah, for sure, man. So, I mean, I can give you one now. So, I mean, this is just like an example here. And you could find this one. Let me show you here. You can find this one like on Alibaba, like AliExpress, if you talk to your suppliers, right? So this is high ticket like product. It's just like with nice packaging, with some branding, with kind of like logo put on the item. So this is the difference.
So there is infrared sauna-blanket.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Just as an example, right, of this kind of like of this of these type of products, because you can drop ship. Like the adjustments here that have been made, if you think about it, the adjustments that have been made are obviously the shipping times is better. For example, because with heavier items, you'd have to like import them, get them on a boat, right? Because if you ship them with like, you'd have to ship them with like they're heavy, right? So you have to get them like a container of them or fuel in boat and import them and ship faster. But like the overall like experience is like branded packaging, right? branded, branded, like you put the brand name on the product, which if you work with your suppliers, if you have a good supplier, hey, okay, we want to put our brand name on the product. They'll tell you, okay, so the factory wants like minimum order quantity of like 500 items or 1,000 items, right? This is what it would take. And then they would do it. Like you send the logo, they put it, they slap it on the product, and the product looks branded, looks like yours. Improved manual for the product, right? So you improve the manual kind of like on Fiverr. On Fiverr, it would cost you $150 to design a very nice, like solid, colorful manual, right?
Right.
Then so let's say kind of like, let's say you're drop shipping, you've done like like 1,000 sales or 2,000 sales. Now your customer support people know like, oh, people asking a lot about this feature of the product, where people cannot figure out this part. Now you take that feedback and you implement it for the manual, for the user manual, right? Like, so when people get the product, it's colorful and it actually has all of these main bullet points, main things that people had issues with. On top of that, what we do is we shoot video training. If our products are kind of like more, complicated to use or new to the market, we would do the manual. Like we'll do, for example, one of our team members, like would do the training. Okay, so here's how to do this. Here's how to do this. Here's how to use the product. And so that just eliminates like, so much like, so you're selling, for example, if you're selling t-shirts, okay, how to take care of your t-shirt, like how to make sure your t-shirt lasts for like extra, like, year, right? Like major things, mini like training, maybe style guide.
That's
maybe
awesome.
Style guide, if that's your market.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty nice actually.
So
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add.
Like,
I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off. I'm gonna add the link to this website in the description if that's okay to share. Right? Yeah. Awesome. So actually, that's pretty insightful. Now, tell me something like, how would someone find these products? Like, what's coming to my mind right now is people could just go to AliExpress and sort the results by, go to any category that they're passionate about or know about and sort the results by price, price high to low, and they can actually see the kind of products that are expensive, and then they can figure out a way to brand that product and sell it. Like, that's one approach that I see is applicable. How else would you approach finding these kind of products? Like, how do you and your team usually find such products?
I mean, I personally like to see the like competition, right? So even like this, right? Like, I don't know if I share my screen, that'd be all right or no?
Yeah, you can. I'll just
or okay, I'll do this, right? So this product, I think the product that I'll send you in a second was probably first to the market. Was this particular product that I sent you, like this one.
All right.
It's called Higher Dose.
Higher Dose, right.
Oh, yeah, it's called Higher Dose, right? So there is typically like you don't have to kind of like, first, like I like to monitor my ads on my newsfeed. I also monitor the ads that my wife has, like on her newsfeed, Instagram, because like you see what kind of like products you're being targeted with. And like this product, for example, that I sent you, it's like, so this product, I guess, was first to the market, was this particular like product, and then other people pretty much started jumping on it, right?
Okay.
So if you are like, even if you're not first in the market, which most likely you will not be, you can still get some. You can still build like 7-8 figure business, right?
Okay.
Probably you will not build. I mean, you can even build like 9-figure business, right? If you kind of like concentrate enough efforts on it. It's more about like, okay, so you have like proof of concept. I just like to have proof of concept. right?
Hmm.
I would not go like AliExpress, probably. Um, I would just see kind of like what actually is
Hmm.
selling, what actually is feeling kind of like some specific, like solves a specific pain, right, in the market. Like, so for example, this product solves like recovery, right? Like recovery, relaxing the
Yeah.
mind, so kind of like giving those things that like, and also like it's saunas like during COVID. I mean, they were not like open,
Yep.
right? So that
Correct.
was another like booster for sales.
Hmm.
So you would look at it more kind of like a just a product market fit perspective, I
Hmm.
think, more than anything like else.
Hmm.
And yeah, whether the product kind of like satisfies the needs like of a particular segment of customers.
That
I
makes
think that's
sense.
like number one, and from there you adjust.
Hmm. That's great. So what you're saying is that
I
you
think where
just
people,
hmm. Yeah. Go on.
Mhm. Yeah,
Go
please.
on.
I think a lot of people would just like kind of like copy, and
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to differentiate somehow, right?
Yeah.
So like the first product that I
Hmm.
have sent you,
Hmm.
for example, I mean, you can just differentiate by
Yeah.
your let's say by your landing page,
Right.
right? So for example, and funnels look really different.
Hmm.
So for people, it looks like we're selling something different.
Hmm.
Whereas, you might differentiate by color.
Correct.
For example, you're selling the products that are like, yeah, like different color. Everyone sells like black, you sell red.
Right.
Everyone sells red, you sell green. So that by itself, right? There's this company, like you're probably familiar with this product, which is called Pour Vacuum Cleaner.
Hmm.
I think every dropshipper was like selling those like at one point of time. It's just like
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
so oversold, like overused product. Now
Hmm.
this company took that product that was
Hmm.
already like selling very well,
Hmm.
in the
Oh yeah.
beauty, and
Yeah.
they made some adjustments to it, or okay, reaching out to supplier.
Hmm.
Okay, so the main problem, like if you've sold Pour Vacuum Cleaner, or if you ask people who like sold Pour Vacuum Cleaner, is
Hmm.
that it doesn't have the suction, like the suction. That's the main thing that you're advertising. Hey, it sucks all of the like dirt and stuff from your
Yeah.
skin,
Hmm.
but it does because like I think probably the motor, like the engine in it, is probably too weak.
Hmm.
I assume.
Hmm.
um, and so now, why is that? Because like
Hmm.
if you're sourcing the product that costs like $7,
Hmm.
like in China, probably that will be like they'll put the cheapest engine, like the lowest
Hmm.
capacity, the lowest power,
Yeah.
like,
Hmm.
and that's it. Right? That's your problem.
Hmm.
Like these people just like, hey, okay, there are like tons of people selling these like garbage products.
Hmm.
Everyone's complaining for suction. What if we do like the one that actually like has strong motor? Okay, we can pay like $10 more per item, but we sell it as a premium and we sell it for $150.
Correct. Correct.
Our margins are ridiculous, right? Like,
Hmm.
okay, you pay $30 for the product, you sell it for
Hmm.
150. Like you have $120. I mean, you can buy customer like on any platform. If your
Yeah,
conversion
that's
rate is
super.
like low,
Hmm.
you can just like retarget until they buy, and you'll be profitable. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That absolutely
that's
makes sense. So what you're saying is you just find something that's already selling in the market, especially something that's high valued and solves a good problem, and you could just do something better, change the color, give better packaging, change, let's say, the marketing angle, or let's say, like you gave these examples. I'm going to add that in the podcast description. That actually makes sense. And
Mhm.
when I have a look at this website, the first one that you shared, it's so beautiful. They have a black box, the way that their logo is there, the way that they've
Yeah,
done the photography, the feels like really premium.
yeah,
So that absolutely makes sense.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
you know,
Yes.
Correct. Now,
Exactly. Like those
this,
little things, right?
yeah, they matter. These little things really matter a lot. That's what Apple does, you know. Simple. Apple charges what, $1,500 for a phone, which have, and you know, there are other brands that give you better features for like $300, but Apple's gonna be Apple. You know, it's pretty
Yeah.
much the same. So tell me something. In terms of marketing, you know, how do you
Mhm.
approach marketing right now when Facebook, everyone's going crazy with Facebook, iOS 14 and ad accounts getting disabled, especially for new advertisers who are just starting out.
Mhm.
99% of people who I know who are starting out get their ad accounts banned, you know, and then even if they're able to run, they think that, okay, iOS 14 is coming up, how do I approach that? So what's your approach for people who are just starting out, and like,
Mhm.
what would you like to recommend them so that they can take care of bans? What kind of solutions do you guys use? And the iOS 14 thingy as well, what's your opinion on that?
For sure. Very good question. Yeah, I think it's kind of like it's very like the whole environment, I would say like last month, like it changed. Like last month since iOS 14, it changed dramatically because like the combination of factors now, we're like end of the quarter right now. So end of the quarter, what happens is all big advertisers like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, um, like big store, like they have the quarterly budget for marketing. Okay, we have to like spend 100 million dollars, or let's say $50 million for marketing this quarter, and 10 million of that is allocated for Facebook ads. Okay, so 2 months in the quarter like come by and they say, oh, we only spend like $3 million on Facebook, right? But we have to hit our goals. All right, so they have this and they have the budget. Like, I mean, they have direct access. I had a conversation the other day, like few days ago, with guy who serves Pepsi account in United States. So Pepsi spends like $100 million a year on Facebook, quite large account, or in the whole world, something like this, $100 million they're spending a year. So they have direct access to reps. Actually, the reps in Facebook are creating their campaigns, something like that. It's totally different like treatment, that like all of the advertisers get. But like imagine those type of people, it's supply and demand game, right? It's supply and demand. So you have, let's say, 2 billion people, monthly active users on Facebook, right? With that being said, like majority of people like that are advertisers probably targeting like United States, right? So you have like 300 million people in that country, maybe 100, like 50, 200 million of them on Facebook as monthly active users, maybe less, maybe more, I don't know. But then, so iOS has reduced that pool of people that you could target, because like, okay, so now they cannot track people on some apps, they cannot track who purchases stuff. So that pool of like, if you're optimizing for purchase, this is what you're buying, this is who you're bidding for, because you're bidding for people who are actually very likely to complete that event. This is why you can make the performance marketing work. And so now that pool got smaller because there are not as many people in that market. People opt out of marketing, and especially United States, only like I think 4% or 5% of people opted in to be tracked. 95% of people don't want to be tracked, and iOS is a major kind of like
Provider
platform,
of data.
for
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Most users, like more than Android, more than Samsung, like all of these, that's secondary in the United States. In Europe, probably in Asia, it's slightly different. But here, majority of people, like around like 60% use iOS. So what happens, that creates a very, very competitive environment. Now combine it with the fact that brands need to blow their money on ads, right? So Facebook has an option. Like if you give Facebook an option, okay, do we allow our dear client Pepsi or Coca-Cola to blow their like hard-earned money on ads, or do we allow these like three people from or like 1,000 people from Ukraine and from India to blow their money for ads in United States market? Who do you think they'll choose?
Oh, of course, of
Right?
course. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Makes
it's
sense.
like, and so it's so like that makes it like it could be temporary because it's end of the quarter, but it is just the competitive environment. The same what happens like Q4. It is so competitive, right? Everyone wants to hit the same people. Everyone targets the same people, right? So that's why like everyone is talking about, hey, build your audiences, build your kind of like retargeting lists during like Q3 and then like Q4, just like retarget those people because yeah, it is competitive environment. And if you think about the track, kind of like the progression year over year, and I had the same conversation with with chief operating officer of Rage Wallet. I mean, they're a decent company. The last year done like $50 million in sales, but like it's so competitive for them. They like they cannot make Facebook work. Um, and only now, like I don't know, for whatever reason, for them it's gotten like less competitive with iOS update, maybe less competition in their market, people cannot figure it out. But they're using some other channels and they're not relying on Facebook. So for our business currently is so reliant on Facebook. We generate majority of our sales from Facebook, but it is, if you think kind of like it feels good, and sometimes you might have like good months and you might have like a good year. But if you think whether that's a good long-term strategy to be dependent, overly dependent on one platform, it is not.
Hmm.
It is not.
Right. That makes sense. In your ads, have you seen a dip in, let's say, your sales or the tracking being done? How much? Like,
Yeah,
how much is that? How much is that percentage?
we had we had a dip. Like I mean, currently I guess the tracking probably reflects like 60, like probably like 60% of the actual like volume.
Got it.
Um, and it is I mean there are ways around it. Actually we've been like researching, we found some way around it to kind of like overcome that partially with Zapier,
Yeah.
Zapier integration. I don't know if are you using it or no.
Not we're not using it in ecom, but yes, we use it in the other businesses that we have. Zapier. Yes.
Okay, so
Hmm.
it's Zapier integration. Yeah, we'll share it today, with ESS guys, because like that seems to be working.
Okay, that makes sense. That's interesting. That's pretty interesting. So even for this brand that I was sharing with you about, so currently we're doing Google Ads, we're doing Facebook as well, and we're also planning on starting with Instagram or YouTube influencer marketing, because
Hmm.
that's pretty much the way. You cannot just depend on one platform because things can change, and in the end, it's all about building a relationship with your people. The better
Yeah.
relationship with you have with your clients, I mean, the better it is. You want to own these people, you want to own these clients and serve them better than anyone else out there in your space. So that's how I personally see it. And this brings me to this question that, um, from coming from six figures to, let's say, eight figures, nine figures, 10 figures, how has your mindset changed? If you go back to when you, let's say, cross your first six figures versus now,
Hmm.
what is the biggest shift that you've had in your mindset?
And like I think I have like fucked up mindset, because it's never enough for me. Like I'm one of those people that is like I'm never like, you know what I mean? It's like you achieve level of success that you like before you said, oh wow, if I get like to this level of success, I'll be like fucking, I'll be so happy, and this will be it, and I'll be set for life, and like I will not be like even working. Like now I don't have to work. Like if I decided to, but I can, it's like the fire inside. I don't know, man. It's I think it is competitive spirit. I think it's probably the fact that like it does not make me like necessarily happy even. um so it is a kind of like, I think it is a trade-off, right? I think the people that are like very kind of like very like competitive, it just like
Hmm.
drives them crazy, you
Yeah.
know because like, okay, you achieve some level of success, but then you see these other people. So the environment itself, right? Like part of the reason like why we have like ESS program, I mean, we learn from everyone, we see like what's working, we have this like kind of like we have so much data, like okay, so this is working, this is not working. But also it is competitive, right? You know, so I see someone's like doing very well, you know, it's like, you know what I mean, like I want to perform better too. So I think environment, first of all, it kind of like shifts your kind of like perception of the reality, like what is kind of like enough and what is not. At the same time, I think it's like there cannot be like a point where you just like stop and stop doing like, or okay, I made like so much money, like let's say like you have real estate, you have like passive income, awesome. um, but it's like if you just take and like kind of like, I think the world is moving so fast, right, that you have to be on top of it, right, that you have to like constantly be like adapting and evolving, because like okay, so you've, let's say you have real estate, you have like some passive income, things change, you know, with real estate, things change with, you know, something might happen, something might happen with real estate market.
Yeah, like COVID.
Something,
You know, COVID's impacted the real estate market
yeah,
really bad. Yep.
yeah, exactly, right. Like, so there's things that we cannot. So it's kind of like, I think we underestimate as humans, like what we actually need. Like that's just like in terms of, I think in all aspects of life, not just business. Like we think that we need this, but in reality, like we might need like a lot more. Like you know, to secure our families, um, from that side. Um, yeah, I think at the end of like probably environment is number one thing that kind of like changed my mindset. Like because you get exposed. Like I was poor. You know, I was a poor freelancer, and then I got hired by these guys who were doing like affiliate marketing, uh, like advertising on Facebook, like 2016 maybe or something. And these guys, a few years older than me, you know, and making like 150 million dollars a year.
100 $150 million a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So they've been doing like some black hat stuff on Facebook, some crazy stuff, and now you're just like thinking, geez, you know what I mean? Now you think that you're doing well, but you're not doing that well. In your own mind, but every person should do, like I think every person should kind of like, because it's a curse, man. It's obsession, like you know what I mean, you always want to do better, you always want to do better, you know, like these like what was the movie, the aviator guy, aviator, remember Leo DiCaprio, like aviator, like
Not
the
saying it.
guy was like, the
Crazy.
guy was like,
Obsessed.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like he was like,
Got it.
and so I think that's the price. I guess that's the price you pay, like for like high performance. Probably there's a middle ground. You try to be like happy, like sometimes, like I don't know. Every person should do whatever makes them happy, right? Whatever makes
Yep.
them like, okay, this is like, this is what I should be doing. But if you have the urge to do something bigger, then you can do it. You know, it's like don't suppress that in yourself. Like if you have that urge, like you know, like for me, like I always wanted to like relocate to better environment. We changed like 5 countries.
Yeah.
Now we're like in United States, in
Hmm.
Miami.
Hmm.
And I think that also was a big factor, like the kind of like the quality of people you would see here and you would have exposure to, the kind of like, yeah, it has a profound impact, right, also on the, I think on the competitive, like
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
people that are competitive, that want to be better, that strive for better, like that makes a big impact.
That's pretty awesome, and I think that's where masterminds and That's where the mastermind group comes in, wherein you have people who think like you, and especially if you have people doing better than you, nothing better than that. Like that's a
Yeah.
huge reason why we became a part of ESS ourselves. This
Yeah, man.
also, brings me to this quick question. Um, so, and this is more of a personal question. I mean, personal in reference to me. You
Hmm.
started with ecom and you're killing it. Doing great stuff. You're there on YouTube. You have great content there. You have the ESS program going on. Uh, so how do you deal with people uh, who, let's say, the haters? How do you deal with haters, with people saying that, oh my God, this guy's, if you've already done XYZ in ecom, then why the hell are you selling programs? Or let's say, why are
Hmm.
you here on YouTube? Because I get that a lot personally. That, okay, if you've done this much, why are you selling $1,000 program? Stuff like that. So how do you usually deal with this on the
Hmm.
level of your mindset?
For sure, man. I stopped even like reacting to these people, because I realized that person who is like, first of all, like, I think the quality of people, like kind of like the distribution of my effort personally right now, it's like probably 30% for like 20-30% of for the for the program,
Consulting.
and the rest is like e-commerce. I see the way of courses being like kind of like the education part of business being like 8-figure business within the next like 12 months. So that has potential kind of like as a business itself. It has not been like very like I mean, it's been profitable, but it's like very minor numbers, like a few million a year. But it has the potential to be like 15-20 million dollar business, and it will be. um, but like it's not about that, because like the course model that we have is, um, it's not what people see like on surface, like, yeah, I'm selling courses. No, it's not selling courses, because what we are doing is we're building network of individuals, right? And then with some of the people in the program, we actually investing in their businesses. So we're buying, for example, okay, so we're buying like 30-50% equity in the business. Then we have people on our e-commerce site that we can bring to your business to help you grow faster. And then let's say 1-2 years down the line, we're selling that business together for, let's say, 5, 10, 20 million, depending on the size. And then it's win-win for both sides. So that is the goal for me. If someone doesn't like it, it's their problem. It's not mine. But it is a business, man. Like it is a business. Like if it has some agenda, if you feel like you want to do it, then do it. Like like I remember like listening the it was the Arnold Schwarzenegger video. He say like
Mm-hmm.
he's like 16 years old and he wants to go to like, said like, I'm going to United States and I'll be the biggest, like the best bodybuilder in the world, and I'll be an actor. And people say, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're living in fucking Austria and you're like, you should be policeman, and like and those people, their opinions don't matter. you know if someone asks you that, like, let's say, or if someone asks me, like, if successful entrepreneur asks me like, why would you do this, right? I would explain them in the same terms that I have explained you. First of all, this is a business. Second, it has potential to be like, we're building a portfolio out of it, not only our business but our clients' businesses. Third, I'm also learning a lot from this, from this network. Like, we will leverage some few of the connections in ESS to get access to some resources, to get access to the agency accounts that we have, now like produced like millions and millions in profit just this year. And like, that's why I'm doing it. So the person who is like sophisticated, who is advanced, who has brains will understand. People who have no brains will not understand, and those people should be disregarded. And my team members did just like block those comments, remove them, and that's game over. So But it will be those people for sure. The more you grow, like the more like the more successful you are, like the more of those people you'll attract. So I think part
Absolutely.
of the game.
That's so beautiful. I mean, what you said is mic drop. I mean, that was so good. Thanks for sharing that, Alex. It's been pretty valuable to have you here. I think it's pretty nice. I'm just out of words. So thank you so much, for sharing what you're sharing. And before we end this, I'm just gonna have one last question for you. I have a lot more, but I'm gonna leave them for sometime in the future. But I'm just gonna ask you one question. So, what is that one thing that you would like to say to everyone listening to this right now? So, people listening to the podcast episode right now, most of them are just getting started with their e-com businesses, or let's say they just got profitable, they want to scale, or maybe a lot of these guys are maybe struggling with Facebook and struggling with getting profitable. So, what would you like to say to these people?
I would think like pick up like 1 to 3 people that you want to learn from about this. And learn. Like I think where people go wrong, like on that stage, is like they watch like 100,000 YouTube videos from different people, everyone saying different things. So without recommend, just pick like 1 to 3 people that you want to learn from them as much as possible. And also, I mean, trust the data more than like, so obviously you have your kind of like ideas and some creativity and stuff, but as you kind of like test those ideas, then you get the data. And so if you'll be like data oriented more than just kind of like gut oriented, I think that will help you a lot. Okay, so if data is wrong, let's say no one's adding product to the cart. Okay, so let me readjust something, right? Or no one is buying the product. Let me get another payment processor. But being like data driven, I think it's a major thing. I see it with you know our like most successful. I mean, they have like spreadsheets, profit and loss for every day, kind of like managing all of their major KPIs, what's going good, what's going bad, and so then you're able to readjust. Like, but first it has to be tracked. Um, all of the metrics you put in the spreadsheet. Um, and then you observe those numbers and you make adjustments accordingly. So I think that is the number one thing, because pretty much it's like, okay, so a lot of the things will not work, but if you constantly just look at the data and you make adjustments based on that, and from every single experience you learn something, so next time you do it a bit better, then you'll make tremendous amount of progress over time.
That's beautiful. Awesome. That makes a lot of sense, Alex. And yeah, that's one thing that we've learned from being an ESS as well. So that aligns with what you're saying. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, Alex, again, with an open heart, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure to have
Thank
you.
you, man. Thank you for having
Thanks
me.
for thanks for sharing, everything that you've shared. I'm sure everyone's gonna love it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the links to your YouTube channel, or let's say your Instagram, in the
Okay.
description. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, they can. And I'm gonna let you know when the podcast goes live. And thank you so much, Alex. It's been a pleasure to have you
Yeah.
on the show.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.